Hi there, Sue Hawks. A lot of teams, they can name issues. They may or may not name them well, but they get to naming them and they immediately move right into discussion or way too early anyway. And when they do that, it ends up back on the list. And the point is to name it in a clean sentence, begin the work, not try and understand all that's going on. So the gap between naming and solving is almost the same for most teams, at least when they begin this work. The team stops at the symptom and goes off into discussion. What often happens if we haven't gotten to the root and where we want to get to solve is we expand the issue. People in discussion start to say, here's my point of view on it, and here's what I thought. And oh, do you know she or he did this and that? And pretty soon I'm asking the question over and over again. So, what's the issue? What issue are we solving? Because we get off on rabbit trails and out in the weeds. And so the team stops in these symptomatic behaviors to try and persuade and politic their way to something that we haven't even identified the root for yet. So IDS is not identify, discuss, and describe. It's actually identify. And when we get to discussion, our job is to weigh in one time, then zip it so that the person who is going to be accountable for making it go away forever can hear from everyone because natural consensus is rare. In fact, almost unheard of. Naturally, it does not always happen, hardly ever. And so you have to be willing to weigh in so that you can buy into what the solve is. It only happens when you name the root, the behavior, the decision, the avoidance, the person, the process. And that's where we really have to get it. Identifying the real issue, not the symptom, is something like we keep missing deadlines. Why? Why? If you don't push and say, so what's the issue? Missing the deadline is going to lead to an explanation, a story, a justification, an excuse, or a reason, probably. And we have to say, we didn't just randomly miss deadlines. And one of my favorite questions I used to ask my teams when I was teaching leadership training, I would say, if I would have paid you $1 million cash to have that done on time, could it have gotten done? 100% of the time, people would say yes. And I would say, then it's not the issue. What was the underlying commitment and who didn't get it done and how often is that happening? So that we can get to the root, not venting, not piling on, not explaining. Discussion has a job, and that's to hear everyone's point of view, be able to sum that up and say, thank you for weighing in. I think I've got what I need. Here's what needs to happen. Versus, oh, please tell me why I'm right or tell me why I'm wrong. It's give me more data points so that it can make the best possible choice to make this go away forever. It means a decision with a name and a next action, not we'll see or let's leave it on the list or we'll keep an eye on that. Someone has to own it, and it's usually has to do with their seat. So who owns it? What's changing? What's our to do? Get back to it. Next issue. We're solved. When it returns, run it back through IDS to get to the root. And I would challenge whoever put it on the list to say, why is this back? Your intensity has to get a little higher, a little more intentional, not because the person's wrong, because we're skimming over whatever is happening that is causing us to be here in the first place. Here's what I want you to get. Naming an issue tells you where it hurts. It'd be like me going to the doctor and saying, my wrist hurts. But if they don't examine my entire body to find out where it's coming from, that it's ending up in my wrist hurting, they're going to do something that will not solve it forever and make it go away so that my wrist is better. They're going to give me some kind of medication to just make it feel better for a little while. So we have to get to the root to make sure that we can make it go away for the long-term greater good of the company. This is exactly the work we do in the Issues Gym. Comment Gym below and join us. We'll get solving for good.